A marble face stares from the darkness. No color, no warmth, no name. What did the men who held the world actually look like? For 2,000 years, these faces existed only in cold stone. Now, ancient texts and artificial intelligence are able to bring them back to life. Every bust you have ever seen was once painted. Flesh tones, colored irises, dyed hair. The stark white we call classical is simply time stripping the pigment away. But there is a problem. Roman sculptors idealized their subjects. The busts may not have been accurate representations, only the image power wanted to project. Around 121 AD, Suetonius published The 12 Caesars, the best physical description of Roman emperors that has ever survived. It remains the gold standard and a key source for this video. Julius Caesar, born 100 BC. He wasn't an emperor himself, but he was the man who ended the Republic and made emperors possible. Suetonius wrote it plainly. Tall of stature, fair complexion, shapely limbs, a somewhat full face and keen black eyes. Sound of health, except toward the end. In a single lifetime, he conquered Gaul, crossed the Rubicon, defeated Pompey, reformed the calendar, and made himself master of the known world. No Roman before him had done anything close to it. Caesar was obsessed with his thinning hair. When the Senate decreed he could wear a laurel wreath at all times, he was genuinely relieved. On the Ides of March 44 BC, 23 senators surrounded him with blades. The purple was never safe, not even for the man who invented it. Augustus, born 63 BC, Caesar's heir. He understood something his adoptive father never grasped. Power dressed in marble lasts longer than power announced with swords. Arguably Rome's greatest emperor, he transformed Rome from a republic to a true empire, extending Roman territory into modern-day Spain, Germany, Egypt, and the Middle East. Suetonius described him as having clear, bright eyes. Pliny the Elder specified them as glauci, blue-grey. His hair, subflavum, not golden, closer to dirty blonde. He stood around 5'7". He wore built-up shoes his entire reign. The man who ruled the known world was quietly, persistently self-conscious about his height. In 31 BC, at the Battle of Actium, Octavian destroyed Mark Antony and Cleopatra's fleet and became the undisputed master of the Roman world. He was 32 years old. Despite controlling an empire of 50 million people, he could not control his own daughter, Julia. She was exiled for life to a bare island. No wine, no men. He never saw her again. In 9 AD, 3 Roman legions marched into the Teutoburg forest in Germania and were annihilated to a man. When news reached Augustus, he reportedly tore his clothes and refused to cut his hair for months. Despite everything, the exile and the grief, he gave Rome 200 years of peace, the Pax Romana. He was utterly ruthless and never lost a political battle in his life. Augustus died in 14 AD, age 75, at Nola. His last words reportedly were, "Did I play the comedy of life well enough? Applaud." Then came Caligula. Beloved at first, the son of the heroic general Germanicus, greeted with flowers by a city starved of hope. It lasted less than a year. He was tall, thin, and very pale. His face showed prominent eye sockets. His own biographers used the phrase, naturally frightful and hideous. He was acutely aware of it. Then, 6 months into his reign, he fell gravely ill. The exact nature of the illness is unknown, but the man who emerged was a terror. Something had broken or been revealed. He knew people found him alarming. It was reportedly forbidden to look down at him from above as he passed. The angle disturbed him. A man terrified of his own reflection, ruling the world. His favorite phrase, documented by ancient historians: "Remember that I have the right to do anything to anyone." He made faces in public, intending to frighten. He threatened to make his horse, Incitatus, a consul of Rome. Whether this was genuine madness or a calculated insult to a senate he held in open contempt, historians have debated ever since. Caligula ruled for just 4 years, but traumatized an empire. He executed senators for sport, dragged Rome's elite alongside his chariot, and was sadistic and sexually depraved by every account. His own guards assassinated him in January 41 AD. The Senate voted to erase him entirely, his name removed from all oaths, dedications, inscriptions. Next is Claudius. Reconstructing Claudius is uniquely difficult. Even Suetonius admitted he could find no living witnesses and was forced to work from second-hand accounts and old letters. Ancient sources describe a heavier, jowlier face than his relatives. He had a stammer, a limp, and a tendency to drool. Physical imperfections his own family used to keep him invisible for decades. He ended up as one of the more effective administrators Rome ever had. Invaded Britain, expanded the empire, reformed the bureaucracy. But he was paranoid and easily manipulated by the people closest to him. His own niece and wife, Agrippina, was effectively running him and almost certainly poisoned him with mushrooms to put her son Nero on the throne. She would soon learn she had made a fatal miscalculation. Suetonius describes Nero as average height, with a body marked by spots and a foul smell, a thick neck, a protruding belly and slender legs. His eyes were blue-grey and somewhat dull. He fancied himself a great artist, a singer, a poet, a charioteer. He forced senators to fill the seats and watch his performances. In 64 AD, Rome burned for 9 days. Whether Nero started the fire to clear land for his vast new palace, or was genuinely miles away when it began, is a question historians still argue today. In 68 AD, his generals rose against him. The Senate declared him a public enemy. He fled Rome and died by his own hand in a suburban villa, the last of the Julio-Claudians. After Nero came chaos. 4 emperors in a single year. Vespasian survived, a general's general, blunt and practical. Then came his sons. First, Titus. Suetonius states, he was strongly built with a handsome face. His memory was exceptional, with an aptitude for almost all the arts of war and peace. In 70 AD, Titus besieged Jerusalem, ending a 4-year Jewish revolt that had humiliated Rome. When the walls finally broke, the Second Temple burned. Titus himself walked through the flames. In the final year of his own life, Titus completed and dedicated the Colosseum to the people of Rome. 100 days of games, 9,000 animals. Then came a stretch Rome would call its golden age. Nerva, Trajan, Hadrian, Antoninus Pius, Marcus Aurelius. 5 emperors who preferred administration to assassination. Marcus Aurelius did not want to be emperor. He wanted to read, to write, to think. Fate, as it often does, disagreed entirely and handed him an empire in disarray, hanging by a thread. He wrote the Meditations for himself. They were never meant to be published. A private journal of a man trying to be better, one of the best sellers in bookstores worldwide today. He died on the northern frontier in 180 AD, likely of the Antonine Plague, the same pandemic he had spent 15 years fighting. Rome would never be quite the same again. Then came the last emperor in our story, and in many ways, the most consequential. Constantine the Great. Born around 272 AD, he was physically unlike any emperor before him. Ancient sources describe Constantine as tall and imposing with a thick neck, Later portraits show him with a strong jaw and large, upward-gazing eyes that became an imperial convention of divine aspiration. The Edict of Milan in 313 AD did not make Christianity the state religion, but it did end the persecution. For the first time, Christians could worship openly. He moved the capital of the Roman Empire east to a city he built and named for himself, Constantinople. He converted the empire to Christianity and was baptized only on his deathbed. What these reconstructions reveal is not just how they looked, it is how human they were. Vain, frightened, brilliant, damaged men who happened to hold the hinge of Western civilization in their hands. The marble face still stares from the darkness, but now, just behind the stone, something flickers. History done properly takes time. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. We will have future reconstructions of historical figures coming in a later series. And so, with that, we'll see you in the next one.